You thought the Swiss streams were over, but you would be mistaken. Just gotta do all the generic stuff before the stream starts. Of course, I'm never gonna be exactly on time here. So I need one moment to actually start commentating on the game. But before I do, I want to check what the stakes are. This is round 4, so there are some matches to go. If you look at the standings, Aangineer's 2-1, pretty good. Jezz, also known as Apple Pie, is also 2-1. So we got two pretty good placed players here. That means that if either of them wins this match, they're basically guaranteed into top cut. So they're both going to be really looking to get that done here and not have to worry about future games. Okay, I'm going to pour myself some water. Gotta stay hydrated, especially on a hot summer day. Alright, now let's look into this match. We got a Gaios mirror here. We have Aangineer playing straight Gaios, it looks like. And Jezz is looking like he's on some sort of zone control deck. So that's going to have the Glagook package, that's going to have Tribite, that's going to have Serpent. Those are the main ones. Going to be looking to spam a lot of good creatures, whereas Aangineer is just going to be bringing all the power that Gaios has to offer. Aangineer has been on this Gaios midrange deck for a long time, which I'm always a big fan of. That's going to mean he has a lot of experience under his belt. He knows how to play it. And so far with the 2-1 record, it's paying off. Okay, we see a FICO here. Other FICO is in hand, so no free play of the second FICO is going to be able to use here, which is a little bit unfortunate, but still setting up a 260 health creature will be a little bit annoying for Jezz to respond to here. Taking a look at the hand, we see a lot of Gaios creatures. Not sure whose position is exactly better. It depends which is Aangineer's points and which is Aangineer's stars. Okay, swing for 2 here. Beast is fine. Not beasting is also fine. Hard to say. Can also just drop the FICO next turn. I don't mind that. Yep. You have the field to protect against a mole. Okay, we see the draw here. And okay, so I think both players are using white as their stars and black as their points. So Aangineer on 3 points, Jezz on 9 points. We're still in the early stages of this game. And Aangineer has a very large hand. At some point you're going to start want to burn through those cards. In the hand. Okay, so we're going to see a zone here. Makes sense. Aangineer has a huge star lead, but it's not as big as it seems because Jezz has both zones paid for. Okay, we get a hit off of a Magical Zemillion Tree, so Aangineer is going to get to look at the top 5 cards of his deck. As long as there's a Gaios creature there, he does not have to discard his hand, and he gets to grab one of those Gaios creatures and gain a star for each Gaios creature you grab. So plus 2 stars, going to be able to grab probably a Super Flooper. Noth isn't that strong. I could see a Noth grab here, but probably you just want second Super Flooper. But we will see Noth go to the hand, which isn't too bad. Junior might be thinking he already has Super Flooper in hand, doesn't need another one. Although he does have a way to get a second Spore Gazer via Gaios. But we do say Battle Stone being bought. Thorn's going to get over the Jackra very efficiently. Noth as well, so that's a very efficient way to respond to Jezz's board here. Both die. Now the ball is back in Jezz's court. And we are seeing this Tri-Bite come down now. One of the key cards in the zone control deck. When Tri-Bite is killed, it is free applied to your opponent's zone, and it is stuck there for 3 turns. Reminiscent of Slush Infestation, a card that is now banned because of how strong it was. And annoying for the game. And this annoyance is brought back with Tri-Bite. And the trouble with Tri-Bite is that if you try to kill it regularly, like it looks like Aangineer is trying to do now, Jezz can free play that Tri-Bite into a creature zone, and then when the creatures have to return from their battle zones to the creature zones, one of them is going to have to die. But instead, Jezz is just going to kill the resource zone, which means that for this next turn, Beast and Field will not be active. Guster here as well. It's gonna clear a battle zone, and the Vok also goes down. Here Jezz got away with not having to deal with temple traps, even though Aangineer didn't have them. Now he does. But if he wants to get his full setup back, he's gonna need to buy another resource zone and another battle zone, leaving him with only 6 stars, which is not ideal. And here we see what the power of zone control is: its ability to, well, deny zones and therefore stars. Tri-Bite is at 1 now. I'll keep track of that for these players since Jezz does not like to add counters, it seems. Regardless, we'll see how Aangineer responds here. Could drop a Flooper, that's a little aggressive. Could Ficadorus here. That seems like a pretty strong out in my opinion. Getting value out of that card, but going for a little bit more of aggressive play here with the Truant. But if he wants to poke here, he's going to need another zone. Let's see. It's just 1, so maybe not the best time. Okay, gonna buy the resource zone to have that temple traps active now. Aangineer now has the option to buy the battle zone back, but that'll put him at 10 to 14, 6 is 8. I don't think Aangineer paid for the resource zone. I think Aangineer here has to pay for the resource zone. Yep. Okay, so choosing not to pay for the battle zone, probably a good call, but that resource zone response, Guster here, resource zone is strong from Jezz. I like this play. If he can pair that with a way to get rid of the Tri-Bite, or with the Truant, I mean, that'll be good. Shuffling in is kind of a waste. What's going on here? Zone should be gone, but I guess there's just a little bit of delay on that. Okay, but shuffle in Thorn, and then gonna just manually kill the Truant, not let Aangineer get that later in the game. And Thorn's kind of a dead card. Like, yes, it's a +1, but it's not the strongest option. And then swing for 2. Okay, now what? What's the response here? I'd like to see Sapling Squaws, kill Sapling Squaws, grab Thorn, free play Noth, play Thorn, buy Battle Zone, and clear board. I think that's the most efficient way to do it. You do go down to what force? You go down to 2 stars, but I think it's okay here. Uh, yeah, I don't think there's much else to be done here. I think that Sapling, you thin this thorn out of the deck, you set up a 2 creature board for cheap, and you clear this board. But we'll see how Engineer chooses to handle it. You could use a flipper here, but it's kind of a waste. You could even kill the Tribite with, you could kill the Tribite with Super Flipper. Although I think the alternative line is a little bit stronger. This works as well, so that's 1 creature you need. And you open up the resource zone. You probably still want to pay for the battle zone. Well, we see the Gauss here. Yeah, I would like to see Sapling Squads killed for Thorn and Free Play Guster. I think that doing it in this way doesn't use the resources as effectively as you could. But end of the day, Engineer has set up a board that's applying pressure. And that's good. I think at this point in the game, it's okay to be less efficient with your resources with the cards you have in hand, because the game is widening down to a hold. Engineer's hand is a little bigger than I'd like it to be honest. At this point, I'd like him to play down some cards if he can find the lines. And we just see a Thorn and Pass, which is good news for Engineer. This is a great opportunity again, I think, to use the Gaiath to kill the squads, to grab a Thorn, to maybe free play them off. Well, killing Thorns here is fine. Probably going to see a Beast as a response. No Beast. I think that this kind of tells Engineer that Jezz probably doesn't have Beast, otherwise he would have used it there. Okay, but still has Crash, so that's good. Jezz is at 11 points, so not that far away. Planetary Field and Beast are going to be annoying to get through, but it's possible Jezz has a combination of AAA and Mold to clear those cards and then very easily swing. Just getting a little bit of chip here, which is good, means he's 1 point closer, or it means that his final turn burst potential is less. Now it's up to 8 points, which is possible with this deck to get an 8-point burst, although it's much easier to do with Galaxy Crash. But every extra little bit of chip Jezz gets will make it easier for him to go in for one final swing. Also, with Beast and Field still available, maybe Jezz is thinking, I'm just going to chip my way to 20. Engineer, on the other hand, has to start applying some pressure here. Tribite can be cleared with a for sale sign here, and then killed with Gaiath to grab the second Noth out of Engineer's deck. It's a little bit of a waste of a for sale sign, but if that card is that annoying, I think it's okay to do. You can buy Tribite, grab Noth, free play Noth, yep, and swing for 2, maybe 3, maybe you drop a Thorn here. And you could kill, which I kind of prefer. I'd prefer just killing the Tribite. And 2. I prefer just killing the Tribite here, just because you don't want to be playing a Star Wars with Jezz when you only have 7 stars. You're a little bit low, and you want to save those stars to play down the rest of the cards in your hand. Now we're going to see the Pelf here. Yeah, this isn't the option you wanted to give Jezz. So you're going to see the Pelf here, then Tribite can come back down, and that's kind of like a wasted opportunity. And now we're going to see presumably a swing from 3. Tribite comes in, yep, and Pelf comes down, swing for 3. Okay, so it's going to we're going to see the Beast, AAA. That's quite useful. Tribite's going to be this nuisance on Engineer's board. and Jezz is at 15. Uh, Probably what you have to do here, if you're an engineer, is pay 4 for the second resource zone, and I was gonna say, use Temagrab here. Looks like engineer is going for a different route. I don't think this is as strong because that Tribite's still a problem. You have to really do buy that second resource zone. Otherwise, when you kill the Tribite, it's gonna clog the zone, and then you're giving Jezz a lot of ways to clear the boards. Yeah, because now Tribite comes out. Now we have the Beast, and now Jezz has some efficient ways to clear the game. So yeah, important to get the second resource zone there. Let's see, does Jezz have a way to swing for 5 here? Because if he doesn't, Aangineer is still in this game, can play down a truant, has 2 triple traps, which are going to be very annoying. Can drop like FICO truant or something, and just set up really annoying boards to deal with. Okay, Thorn for 1, and now needs a 4-point swinger here. If Jezz wants to win on this turn, Jackal plus Thorn would do it. But it doesn't look like... Okay. Double Knopf is 4. So, very close, but not just... Not... Gosh, I'm tired. But not quite the 5 points that Jezz needs. That is big. That gives Aangineer a opportunity to get back into this game. But still, it's probably going to have to buy that resource zone. It should be at 11 points here, not 11 stars. So now it's... Okay, you pay 4 for the resource zone, that leaves you with 7 stars left. And with those 7, maybe you just drop like Truant plus Gla? FICO resource zone is a thing you can do. Okay, I'd like to see Gla being played to search the Thorn. You have to realize at this point that you've been like playing very slowly this entire time, and so you have all these really strong cards in your hand you haven't been able to get value of. Now we see Jezz here is going to use the Gla and threaten game again. Of course, Aangineer does have field, but it's going to be wasted on not much. And Aangineer with 12 points still has a long way to go before... Oh, and the Guster! Okay, nice from Jezz here. Using the Guster, killing that resource zone. Field is not going to be an option from Aangineer, and cleanly takes game 1. And we see how some heads-up plays from Jezz and some misplays from Aangineer can really shape the outcome of a game. We saw Aangineer was not able to get much value out of some really powerful cards. Temple Traps is super strong. But when you wait too long, and Aangineer realizes it, when you wait too long to use some of your cards, you don't end up getting to use them at all. When you wait for the perfect moment, and that moment does not come, you're just left holding a hand of a lot of great points, staring at 20 points on the other side. This brings us to the siding phase of the game. Jezz playing a lot of generic good cards. will likely mean that Aangineer has some options to side against him. Erratic Void is a card some players play. We'll likely see some Monuments of Creation come out, which lets Aangineer draw 2 cards whenever Appleby draws any, so that works with Gla and Thorn. We could also see Abandonment. Recently, that card has not been that popular because most decks, like the one Aangineer is playing, rely on mostly a single planet. However, versus Jezz's deck, which is like a variety of different planets, Abandonment would be really strong. Shockwave 8 is a card that people play for the Pally matchup, so you can use it here to kill the serpents, but it's a little bit too situational. Probably what you're looking for is Monument to Creation and Erratic Void, Abandonment if you have it. And on Jezz's side, probably committing less cards to the Gas mid-range deck. Gas mid-range has always been this contender, but it's never been so broken that you really need to tech too hard against it. I think at most we're going to see like a Super Flooper in play. Maybe 2, but likely just 1 Super Flooper. We'll see who's going first here. Aangineer choosing to go second, the classic pick. And so the second game begins. We start off with some draw passing, as expected in the game of CG. Some slow draw passing as well. So players thinking for a while and then deciding to draw and then pass. Of course, from a spectator's perspective, it can be a little boring to play this long in dance where both players draw and pass until they feel like their hands are strong enough, or then they actually start putting pressure on. But it doesn't really have to be that annoying. It's just sometimes it takes longer than it needs to. Like players aren't as fast as they could be. But also there is a thought every turn you have to consider, is this the turn I want to go in and start applying pressure or not? Because you don't want to do this forever. Eventually, both players have enough stars as their hand that they don't have enough turns to play them. That's when you get positions where you lose the game with a bunch of really powerful cards in your hand. When that happens, it means that you likely were too passive, that you waited too long to do your whole draw pass shenanigans. Okay, Blur of the Polyfalls comes down, gonna grab Rowdy, great opener, but still an aggressive play because that is still a 4-star creature. Jezz taking the first 2 points of this game and forcing Aangineer to come up with a response. If this was a 1-point swinger, it's much more comfortable to just draw pass for a couple of turns. Because like after even 5 turns, you're giving up 5 points, which matters, but it's not the end of the world. However, this 2-point swinger is going to apply a lot of pressure really quickly. I mean, you have 10 turns. 10 turns of this guy swinging, and the game is over. Yeah, some star leaking, something to get used to not doing. Coming from Aangineer. But that just comes with time and practice. Okay, and now Engineer is going to respond to the blur on Jezz's side. And we'll start to see this game get kicked off. And Sonov comes, kills the blur, and we get into this early game back and forth, where both players don't yet have two creature boards, and so they're just kind of trading small creatures back and forth. And here the goal is to do that as efficiently as possible. Back on Engineer's side, looking for like a Vlaka Pekimak here, plus another creature zone to play around the Tri-Bite. Or you can like play like a Thorn here or a Sapling Squash to grab another 1-star, cycle those, get them off. That's also quite a strong play. Okay, we're going to see the Tri-Bite again. And bounce the Process Sign. And a Battle Zone. So now we're seeing the opposite here, a very aggressive play by Aangineer, down to only 2 stars compared to Jezz's 11. And gonna swing for 4 points here, which I don't mind. I think it's good to swing with both creatures here because the extra Tri-Bite's not doing that much if it gets killed. That's like its value is in its ability to die and block a zone, not in its just sticking around. And an important note here with the first sale side interaction, when Tri-Bite is bought, it is now owned by Aangineer. So if if Jezz wants to kill the Tri-Bite, it's going to block one of his zones. However, Jezz here playing the Pelfam, bouncing it back, so he's not letting Aangineer get it, and gonna kill the Pelfam and swing for 2. Beast is huge here. Field is also good here. Okay, Beast is really good. Gonna deny the search off of Laji, but Jezz has the AAA, which explains the aggression of that play. So far, Jezz is really taking the dominating position in this game. And we're seeing here that that play Engineer pulled off, putting him in 2 stars, is leaving him in a little bit of an awkward spot now. With just 6 stars, it's going to be hard to answer this board. Sporgazer's a good start. Sporgazer Flooper, that's going to do it. So I stand corrected. I guess maybe Engineer was being so aggressive because he knew he had these options available to him to clear this board. And a Super Flooper is all you need. You can also try to kill the Chakra, swing for 4, and apply a ton of pressure here. Beast would be pretty devastating, so would Crash here. You're really hoping Jezz doesn't have either of those cards. And if not, you're getting 4 points and you're in a great spot. However, if Jezz does have Beast or Crash here, you're still in a lot of trouble. Jezz's hand is colossal right now. I don't know what's in it, but there must be some good options in there. Some ways to clear this board and apply more pressure. And now we're getting into a new type of game, where instead of having 1 creature to 1 creature boards, it is 2 creature to 2 creature boards. And Jezz has the stars and the cards to set up these 2 creature boards more consistently than Engineer does. The Temple Traps hit from Mole is huge. Engineer on only 7 stars. Maybe Temagrob is the only hope here. Crash would be good, but that aggressive play at the beginning did not work out. Jezz able to respond with 2 sets of 2 creature boards in a row, and is already down his Beast. I mean, this is a tough spot. Temagrab is the way to go though. You can clear this board with one card, so that's not bad. Oh, but the field. Does Aangineer have AAA? No, no AAA from Aangineer. That's huge. That's huge. Jezz has all of the answers this game. did did Aangineer forget to AAA? Well, wait, what? Monument shouldn't be discarded here, but Crash is important. Crash is the saving grace for Aangineer here. So Monument should not be discarded there. Can keep that option available. Crash here is good. That keeps Aangineer in this game for just a little longer. But 4 stars again is not enough to do much. Maybe even just a pass here would be okay. You do not have to do anything. Just because the game started does not mean you have to do anything. It's totally okay to pass and leave your board open, especially when you're down on stuff, especially when it's this early in the game. Instead, we're gonna see a Luck killed for Thorn. Okay, this is fine. It's not okay. So here I don't. This is aggression where you don't want to do it. You're already kind of low on stuff. Now's not the time to play your creatures. You want to wait for Jezz to put up another 2 creature board and then respond to it efficiently with Thorn or Knopf or some other combination. Because now you lose those 2 cards, you lose those 2 options for a response. If you top deck Gook now, unless you have second claw in hand, that's not good. And Jezz likely has a way to still respond here. Resource Zone is gone. I kind of like Battle Zone being killed here just a tiny bit more. Simply because it puts even more star pressure on Aangineer, but both work. This way you deny the traps. A little bit of a lower variance play. But again, this board is clearly is efficiently cleared, and now Aangineer with a similar position, same amount of stars, has to find yet another way to deal with this board. And at some point, I have the feeling Aangineer's not going to be able to. He's going to have to burn a lot of extra resources each turn to try to clear these boards, because he doesn't have the stars to do it as efficiently as he'd like. Zero stars, right? Yeah. Okay, so and this is bad for Aangineer. Here I don't like the for sale sign play either, because now you're clearing now your zone is gone as well. This gives Jezz the opportunity to buy back Guster and just fearlessly apply pressure. Doesn't have to worry about traps. Doesn't have to worry about field. Pelfam again bounces back Guster. Okay, and probably just a swing for 3 here is good enough. And what can Aangineer? A swing for 4, so extra aggression. I don't mind it, honestly. Creature Zone is still there. Don't know what's going on with that. I think Aangineer will realize. But yeah, with 4 stars and no Resource Zone, I don't see how you can possibly efficiently answer this board. This is a really tough spot now for Aangineer. I mean, Jezz is just running away with this game. I almost think that there's some bug in my stream. Nope, it's just the zone is missing. Why is there only one? Okay, creature zones. I don't know. Yeah, so Creature Zone is missing, so that should be there. And I kind of just glazed over Jezz's turn. The Thorn was killed by Gaios to grab a glove, which opens up the zone for a Jakra. And that is 17 points right there. I think this game is. No, it did not get Gustered. Nope, it did not get Gustered. But don't be too hard on yourself either. We all make mistakes. Yeah. What is what is just like God? Ah man. Yeah. So Creature Zone is still there. Aangineer now has 8 stars to try to deal with this really threatening board. Gaining 3 stars is an interesting thing. Okay, there we go. That's me nitpicking. We have a 7-point board here. If Aangineer just passes here, Jezz is gonna get 7 points, which is 4 more than he needs. So there's a lot riding on this turn for Aangineer. He's gonna probably have to get a resource zone and hope to threaten something. Truant, that's not enough for a resource zone. I think that's gonna wrap up the game because you're paying 6 for Truant. That leaves you with 2 more. I do not know how you're paying both of those things. The math does not work like that. Jezz will catch it this time. Yeah, so it's kind of so let's see here. What kind of cards win it for Jezz here? Lots of stuff. I mean, so many cards are winning for. Yeah, and Glove plus Gook will do it. Alright, and I could keep watching this game, but I think it's pretty much over. Congrats to Jezz here with the commanding 2-0 victory. This will basically guarantee